So it's been a year since I released my last Notion template, and since then I've explored Notion a lot more and decided to do a major overhaul on my homepage, so I wanted to show you guys. First, I wanted it to look prettier. Second, I felt that some pages could have been formatted better to be more useful. And third, the overall layout needed to be as simple as possible because I figured it wouldn't make sense to waste time on a productivity app. And before I forget, I'm currently a second-year university student, so this template is very much geared to my needs, so just keep that in mind. Okay, let's get into it. This is how the overall dashboard looks like. All the main pages are here, and I wanted the first glance to show a cohesive theme, so I used the gallery mode for the page covers. And below is the master calendar. So I'll explain this one first, and then I'll get into the pages. So in my last template, my Notion calendar was just linked to the one on my phone, but I ended up not really referencing it anyway, so I changed the calendar to be more of a planner to combine all of my important dates in one place. So this master tab combines everything on the rest of the tabs. It's a little complicated, so I'll show you how to use it first, and then show you how it works. The first tab is for table layout for assignments. This one's pretty straightforward. You input the subject, the deadline, and the table tells you how many days you have left. Once you're done with it, check it off and it marks the assignment as done. The exam tab works pretty much the same way. Now the study plan tab. When I'm working towards exams, I would add all the materials I have to study for each subject and assign it a date to be done. Or you could leave the date empty for the moment, but just know that anything you add needs a date if you want it to show up in the master calendar. I used Notion's board layout, first because I wanted to track my progress by subject, and also I initially used the table layout and it got way too long and it was just a mess. The content tab is just something I use. It works similarly to the other tables, but I added the option of categorizing what platform and what type of content I have to post. This helps because I do need to see when to prepare for posts amidst term time with my other school commitments. The last one is a simple events tab so that you can see it together with all the other plans that you have. Now if you go back to the master view, you can see the different database dates all together. Or if you'd like, you can go to the filter and remove or add what dates you want to see. Now all these tabs are technically in one big combined table, but because of the filters I've added in each tab, I managed to separate them how I like. So here in the assignments table, I have the table filtered for assignments, and this because I have a hidden property here called assignments. Here you can see all the other properties that I use for the other tables, so all the tables are essentially the same table, just filtered differently and with different hidden properties. The only thing in common is the date property, so that it shows up on the master calendar. And because of the filter, anything I add here is automatically filed as assignments, and same for the rest of the tabs. So this is how the filter works on all the tabs. And now if you're adding a new tab, click Add View, and I'd usually start with the table layout because it's the easiest view to fiddle with the properties. Add a new row, and give it a new option for the database. Filter the table for a new database. Hide whatever properties you don't need, and you're done. Okay, that's that, so let's get into the first page. I use this page for school, so there's a table here to input my classes for the semester. You can input midterms and finals dates here, and I added a simple GPA calculator. If you have any details to add, you can add it in the subject page itself. I put the board view here because I prefer seeing my schedule by the days of the week. Over here, the assignments table is actually the linked database of the one in the master calendar, so anything you add here syncs there, which is pretty cool. I also put a to-do list here for any quick tasks. When you're done with the semester, you can just drag the table under the archive toggle and add a new one. Moving on to the commitments page. It didn't change too much from my last template, but I did change the involvements table to a board, and you can just drag successful applications to the involvements tracker. You can use these toggles to store all the things you need for applications and interviews, so things like your pitch, common questions, your updated resume, and your academic transcript for easy access. Okay, next up is the daily log. This is a new page I've added, and it's the one that I'm most excited about. So how you use it is like this. This here is the key for the mood tracker, so go to the date you want, add an entry, and input the emoji for the day's mood, and then check off any habits you completed. and you can lock your entries down below. The overall view looks like this. If you want to add habits, go to the table view and just add another checkbox. So maybe you'd add something like no sugar. You have to manually adjust the formula, but it's pretty self-explanatory. I just copy and paste one of the existing properties, change it to your new habit, and then change this number to the total number of habits. And then you're done. Or you can just rename one of the example habits. Next, the content planner. On the left is the master calendar from the homepage, but filtered just for the content database. And the content tab is also here. On the right is my brainstorm area. How I use it is I add ideas I have here first, and then when I finally flesh out the details in the page, I categorize which platform I'm posting it to. And when it's ready to be published, you can just drag it to the content table, give it a date, and it comes up on the calendar. Okay, now the goals page. My last goals template was a little sad, so I wanted to spice this one up. I wanted to be more intentional with my goal settings, so how I'd use it is like this. So add your goal here, say get a 4.0 GPA this year, and assign it to one of the categories, like academics. And then you can plan how you're going to achieve that by breaking it down into steps. A possible step would be to read all the materials before the semester starts, and then this is using Notion's relation and rollup property. It looks hard, but it's easier than it seems, so stick with me. You just need to select the goal it pertains to under the relation property. So I'll select the 4.0 GPA, and the rollup property just reflects the linked property to the goal. In this case, the type of goal, which is academics. And all your steps for each goal will be reflected here. So you just need to do your goal setting at the start of the year, then refer back to the steps on the left to stay on track for your goals. Next is the watch list. This is to track all the shows you watch in one place. So I use the gallery view to make things more fun. If you've just watched a show, you'd go to the table view and input all the details. So say I just watched Wednesday. So I'll tag it as a series, list the number of episodes, enter how long I took to finish it, give it a rating, and then I'll list the genres it falls under, and add the cover picture. The board below shows the same shows but categorized by genre instead. You can also view them using the gallery view, but it can get pretty long, so I usually just stick to the board view. I also have a reading list. I categorize books I've read by fiction and non-fiction. So if I want to add a new book, I'd use the table view, input everything, and then I'll use the board view to find books by genre. I didn't want to use the book covers like I did for the shows, just because I think it would become a hassle to keep finding the book cover pictures. Okay, the last page, the spending tracker. So this is how I set it up. When you're starting the year, you enter your savings goals for each month, then as the month passes, you fill up the in table and the out table. For the in table, label what comes in, how much, and assign it to the respective month. So as you can see here, since all these come in under January, in the January row here, the in column adds it all up. This is using the relation and rollup function. The same way for the out table. Fill in what you spent on, how much, assign it to the month, and the total spending will show up in the out column for January here. And I added a column for spending category. So this links to the category table below, which adds up everything you spend for that category for the entire year. So when the month is over, this table calculates your net income as a percentage of your savings goal. I also put a wish list at the bottom of the page. I figured putting it in your expenses tracker kind of acts like an incentive to save. It works the same as the other gallery view pictures, so toggle to table view, add an item, a picture, and a price, and it'll show up like this. Okay, that's about it for the template. I hope you enjoy it. It's by far my favorite layout I've used, and I worked pretty hard on it. It's listed on my coffee shop for $5, but if you're not able to pay, I still hope this walkthrough has given you ideas for your own page. I also got a little crazy post-finals, and I did mock-ups for this template with a lot of different themes. But since I can't sell the template with copyright images, I put the photo packs up for free downloads if you're interested. You can also explore the mock-up templates for some inspiration. Okay, that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye!